Hi, I'm Eric Rhoads from Fine Art Connoisseur, and today we're here with Tim Jenison in the world-famous Vermeer room.
What I'm doing is I'm moving my head just imperceptibly back and forth. But I discovered if I put a mirror here, I got a very bright image, and I can actually take down the walls and work in broad daylight.
We came down here because of the release of the DVD to celebrate that. You've got a lot of people in the art world talking. I'd be curious how this journey began.
Well, it probably began in high school. I took art in high school, but I've never painted. We did pencil sketching and stuff. And I remember my teacher was showing us slides of the Dutch masters. And we were looking at some Vermeers, and I said, Mr. Thorpe, it looks like these guys were just trying to make color photographs. And he got really upset at me for some reason. No, it's about narrative, it's about iconography, it's about composition. They're not like color photographs. And I don't know why he got so upset about it, but it stuck with me forever. So I just had to prove him wrong. About 2000, year 2002, my daughter bought me David Hockney's book, Secret Knowledge. And he basically noticed that along in the late Renaissance, painting started to be much more realistic. About the same time, optics were improving radically. And he made the connection. He said these painters were taking advantage of optics.
You decided to build the set to actually reproduce the room. And what ultimately motivated that? This took obviously a huge amount of effort, took a lot of your time.
Yeah. Well, the way this all got started, I did a simple experiment using just a small mirror on a stick, and I painted this copy of a photograph just to test this idea of using a mirror to, trace an image and trace the colors and the shapes. It worked really, really well. And I thought, well, Vermeer probably did this because it explains so much, and I'm going to do a more ambitious experiment. I'm going to make sort of buy some old-looking Dutch stuff and put it in a room. Well, I mentioned this to Penn Jillette, who I've known for 25 odd years, and he said, what are you going to do after that? I said, well, maybe I'll write a paper about it. He said, this should be a movie. And he got totally gung-ho about it. And I don't know why. I guess that's why he gets the big bucks. I didn't think it would be an entertaining film. But Penn was just a believer from the first second. And at that point, for me, it got really ambitious because they were surrounding me with cameras. And I go, well, I can't just throw some Dutch-looking stuff in a room. I should probably make it look like a real Vermeer. That way, the experiment will be more convincing. Otherwise, people will just say, yeah, it kind of looks like a Vermeer, maybe. But if I could recreate the exact same conditions that Vermeer had and use the machine that I thought Vermeer had used, I could see me as a non-painter who's never painted before. If I could make something that sort of resembled a Vermeer, that would be not proof, but pretty strong evidence that you could use this, that Vermeer maybe did it.
Let's take a look at the device.
Okay. So normally the lens would be projecting a picture of that room onto a white card or a wall back here, and we would be in total darkness.
Right.
So we would have curtains all around us. This would be pitch black, and then we could see this dim image projected onto this card.
But you couldn't paint on that image.
You cannot paint on it
because
as soon as you start painting, you obscure what you're doing. You can trace shapes very easily.
So the assumption that everybody has is that you're operating off of a projected image, which you're not. Because when I look through there, it's very tricky because you have to look at the image and then you have to reproduce it without seeing it on the canvas.
It's a totally different skill.
So you laid down your whole canvas here.
It was laying flat on the table, yeah.
And then you can adjust, you move the canvas around, do you adjust
Yeah, you have to adjust everything depending on what you're painting.
Right.
So you're painting one item a day max. Sometimes an item will take many days, like the rug there took a couple, 3 months.
Where did you get that kind of patience?
They were pointing cameras at me and I couldn't stop. Right. And they, Penn and Teller would call up on how's it going today? Pretty good. There's no way you can stop. You just had to keep going. I would have probably quit. If it was just an experiment for my own curiosity, I would have satisfied my curiosity long before I got to the end. But
when they're doing
they
a
kept me
movie
going.
about you, you got to
Yeah,
show up every day.
I couldn't let my friends Penn and Teller down, you know. But yeah, so this again is sort of a camera obscura. I don't think this detracts in any way from Vermeer. In my mind, it makes Vermeer, you know, more of a genius because he found a way to make a better picture, and that's what he wanted. He wanted the most beautiful pictures he could make.
And he did that.
Sure did.